If you watch my previous video, you know that SingularityDAO not too long launched, and there wasn't a lot of information or anything about it other than what was on the homepage of the screen. I was waiting for Ben Goertzel or someone from the team to talk about SingularityDAO to explain it to everybody that wanted to know about it and who is a fan of the SingularityNet platform. I have a video that just came out today that I was watching a live stream on Solo TV. I'm gonna give you guys the preview of that, letting Ben explaining what's going on with Singularity and the Singularity DAO and what they're doing and how it works and a lot of good information. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's your boy Bitcoin Trapper.
Can be automatically generated and can be bought and sold and such. On the other hand, we don't have a good ecosystem for managing these sorts of lower liquidity tokens, and I think this is something that AI and DeFi can help with, which can then help create more liquidity and value for these technology projects associated with these altcoins. So yeah, with that prelude, let me see if I can share my screen and dig into a few of the details here. So is that screen share working okay?
Yep, we see it. Thank you.
Okay, great. So we're going to talk here about a project called SingularityDAO, which is basically an attempt to use AI and DeFi together to boost the whole world of lower liquidity altcoins. So, and this is both, it's an interesting system in itself. You can find out more about it looking at SingularityDAO.ai. There's a white paper there and so forth. We're looking at launching this fairly soon, but as well as being interest, unto itself. I mean, this is it's an example of some of the things you could do with AI and DeFi. So we're looking at a number of different tokens here in a uniquely configured ecosystem, right? So there's what we call Dynaset tokens, which are a bit like token sets from Set protocol, and these are basically weighted portfolios, weighted baskets of utility tokens, and these could be large cap or smaller cap utility tokens. They could be NFTs, and so then a user can buy this token, which is sort of like an ETF or a bunch of utility tokens, and then that's managed by an AI robo advisor, which rebalances it and which can bring things in and out of it, and then you can stake these ETF like Dynaset tokens. If you stake these, then the longer they're staked, the more yield tokens you can get. Yield tokens is a yield farming aspect. I mean, these of course can have futures and options defined on them, and then the stake tokens can be borrowed, and they can then be arbitraged and traded using AI algorithms. And finally, if you hold your Dynaset tokens long enough, your baskets of altcoins, you can get governance tokens as well, which are also liquid. So there's multiple layers here, as you see in this slide. I mean, the bottom layer is the actual utility tokens, which can be NFTs or tokens for advanced technology projects in AI, gaming, biotech, networking, graphics, whatever other domain it may be. You have these Dynasets, which are dynamic portfolios. Then these are traded by robo advisors, but also when they're staked, they can be borrowed by AI algorithms that then perform other trading and then return their money after their trading is done. And so what we see here, we have an ecosystem that in theory could work without AI. I mean, you can look at ETFs of lower liquidity altcoins, and you can yield farm on them, and you can govern those without AI. On the other hand, in practice, there's too much going on for people to deal with. I mean, if you have a basket of 20 or 50 lower liquidity altcoins, and you have futures defined on that, and then you're trying to arbitrage that against other baskets that overlap with it across multiple dexes. I mean, there's in practice no way to do this without some level of AI in there, because there's too many moving parts. There's a lot going on, and of course one can say, well, then just don't do something so complicated. Just trade Bitcoin, right? But on the other hand, if you want to really create more liquidity and more value for the startup technology projects underlying these altcoins, I mean, then you need to confront this complexity, and AI is extremely valuable here. And that's all this can run on the SingularityNet platform, these AI agents. So you've got a whole bunch of different tokenomic transactions going on here, right? You have these Dynaset tokens wrapping up utility tokens, Sing yield tokens, and then governance tokens. And then, I mean, on the back end, to get the AI business done on different levels, you're using the AGI tokens from SingularityNet platform to get the AI-based prediction and risk analysis done. And of course, AI agents running on SingularityNet, I mean, these can outsource work to other AI agents on SingularityNet. They can also outsource work to agents running in, say, Ocean Protocol or other decentralized networks. So you're really seeing here, you're seeing an application that can really highlight the amplify the power of a decentralized AI network like SingularityNet, but also the power that we get from DeFi and all the unique methods that we have there, like ETFs, non-custodially curated ETF-like instruments and yield farm tokens and governance tokens and so forth. So yeah, to wrap up, I think we're still at early days for decentralized finance, and I'd be the first to admit there's a lot of weird pyramid schemes and scams and badly written unaudited code and stuff. There's a lot of mess out there. There's also really solid projects out there like your MakerDAO, Compound Finance, Token Set, and so forth. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to generate really profound value for multiple sectors of the economy using decentralized finance. And with Singularity DAO project, my colleagues at SingularityNet and I are exploring one piece of it, which is how do increase value and liquidity for the ecosystem of lower liquidity altcoins. But there's going to be a lot of other pieces falling into place. I mean, just to briefly mention one more project before wrapping up. So one of SingularityNet partner projects, Autonio, I mean, they're working on a system for basically decentralized market making for lower liquidity altcoins. So to make it easier, in a purely decentralized and automated way, to make it easier for a new up and coming altcoin to help make a robust, highly liquid market for their token on dexes. And this can also use machine learning and reinforcement learning to automatically look at the order books and do automated market making. But then, of course, that complements what we're doing in SingularityDAO, because on the back end of all these aggregated ETF type tokens we're making, you need robust market making. So the interoperation of, say, a SingularityDAO relying on SingularityNet AI and an Autonio, decentralized AI-based market maker, probably also relying on SingularityNet AI. I mean, this is one example of how you can get interesting operation between different AI DeFi systems, and I think this is part of the DeFi ecosystem we're going to see emerging over the next year. I mean, we're also, of course, going to see machine learning applied in more sort of customary fashions, like people are already applying machine learning to arbitrage, Bitcoin futures with different maturities and so forth. So there's going to be a lot of diversity here, and hopefully I've given you a window into some of the interesting aspects that my team and I happen to be playing with now.